All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to a Schoolscape online webinar in partnership with School Advisor. If you are battling to hear us or anything, there is on your right, there should be a chat comment. Please just let us know if you are battling hearing or anything. I'm going to jump in. We want to keep these short, sharp, and to the point. The aim of this is to really help schools understand if you are going online, if you are introducing remote learning into your school, what are the options? So today I'm going to be interviewing Elsabe Hart from Microsoft. We're going to just be breaking down what Microsoft can do, how it works, and then to see for you to evaluate, is this the solution for your school to move online? So welcome. It's great to have everyone on this webinar. The odd question, we can address those at the end. Elsabe, thank you for being online with us. We appreciate you making the time. Elsabe, to start with, maybe what is your position?
Sure. Thank you, Pete, and thank you for everyone. It's a great honor for me to sit here today from home. As you can see, I've been working from home since Tuesday, so I'm not going into the office anymore, and sadly not going to schools to work with all your incredible teachers. So yes, Elsabe Hart is my name, and I work for Microsoft South Africa. Some of you might have met me. If not, find me on LinkedIn, Twitter, and let's connect. I am the Modern Classroom Experience Solutions Specialist. So we use acronyms, so MCE SSP. So I'm an SSP at Microsoft, if that makes sense.
Brilliant. Okay. So you are the right person to talk to. I think let's jump straight in with the first question. What tools does Microsoft have to provide remote or home learning?
Sure. So I think there's so many new things at Microsoft. When people think Microsoft, they probably still think Bill Gates, which is not all in all Microsoft. Bill Gates actually retired recently completely. He's doing mostly philanthropy work across Africa. So we have a new CEO called Satya Nadella. And if you haven't looked him up, I would really recommend that you go find I want to say go Google it and go find Satya and read all about him. He's really changed the company. And if we talk about how Microsoft is supporting education, we have a specific education sector at Microsoft. Okay. So I am dedicated to that role. I have a few colleagues. We're not a big team. We're about 10 to 12 people that's actively running the education business for the country. So we're in South Africa. We have our head offices in Johannesburg. I am based in Cape Town. So the tools that we give to schools is really supporting the education departments, the private schools. So in my role, I only focus on schools, primary school, high schools. So I look at what they already have and support them to use what they've got and get the value out of it.
Okay. So I think that's important that you've said there's a team of people here. Mm-hmm. So what specifically are then those tools that you can support a school in taking them online?
Sure. So Microsoft is not just Windows. Windows plays a very important role, and I think most schools have a Microsoft Computer Lab environment which runs on Windows, hopefully on Windows 10, which is the latest version. But there's many more things at Microsoft that we have now, and especially on this topic that we're talking about today, supporting remote learning or distance learning, is that we have moved many of our traditional office tools like Word and Excel and PowerPoint online. So we now have a cloud platform called Office 365. And in that cloud, we have different applications. You have your Outlook, which is your mail. You have your OneDrive, which is 5 terabytes of storage for every teacher and every student in the country. Okay. And then you have your traditional apps like Word, Excel, PowerPoint. OneNote is brilliant. I wish I could spend another hour talking about OneNote. And then Teams, which is the hub for teaching and learning. So everything plugs into Teams. And Teams is one of those tools that is fairly new. It's only been around for 3 years. It's now the 3-year anniversary. And Teams is supporting incredibly around the world, across Europe, Middle East, Africa, Americas, Asia, remote teaching and learning, and Teams is that tool that they're using at the moment.
Okay.
And that's
so I think
Office 365.
So I think what I want to do is understand Teams. Before that, quick question: how much does it cost? Is it? We've got a question: is it government, private, everyone? So if you can just start by answering that before we actually understand what Teams does and how it works.
Sure. Okay, so Teams is completely free. And I want to just add that it's always been free to education. So since it was around, Teams is a free application for every teacher and every student to use. Office 365 is also free. So it's free for every student and every teacher in the country if you use the cloud platform. So signing in to the apps basically. That means you can have it on any device, and we will touch on that. So that's cloud. If you want to use it offline, which means you might have a situation where you don't have connectivity, but you still want to use Word and PowerPoint and Excel and OneNote, you can do that. There's a license to that. And good news is that the Department of Education has an agreement with Microsoft in place, and every government teacher, so if you're in a government school, you're in luck, has Office 365 offline and online that they can use for free, all the teachers and students.
So every school, it is free for the pupils, free for the teachers. All right, Elsabe, that's great. Let's understand then what Teams does, how it works. If I understand correctly, also, Saheti School, the school has been closed, I believe, already for a week, and they are using Teams to do remote learning. Is that correct?
That's right. So this is one of the schools that we work closely with. We have a number of schools across the different provinces that's actually using Teams as a remote learning platform this last week, very successfully. So Teams is the tool that they use to connect their teachers with their students. And
so in a nutshell, how does Teams work? If you can just briefly explain it so that the listeners understand what it is.
Yeah. So if you haven't heard of Microsoft Teams, as I said, it's fairly new. It's part of the Office 365 suite. So if you have Office 365, you have Teams, but it also runs as a separate application. So if you go to your Play Store, your iStore right now, or your Windows Store, you can look for Microsoft Teams and you can have it and download it and start using it for free. Teams is basically the hub for teaching and learning, and that means that it really integrates with almost everything. And I mean everything. We have a feed, a post tab where it's almost like, I'm going to say Facebook, but it's got the blue border, so it reminds people of Facebook. I hear it all the time, where it's very user friendly, it's interactive. You can share. You can share content, emojis, GIFs, memes, all of these things. So it's a nice interactive collaborative platform. Then you also have a file space, which is almost like a OneDrive storage space where whatever files you share, and that's any file. That could be a Word file, an Excel file, a PowerPoint file, a PDF, a JPEG, a Google Doc, a Google Sheet, really any online document that you want to share, a document from your device.
Okay, so just to clarify, it does integrate with Google Docs and other systems.
Yes, and this is a very important point. I think some teachers are under the impression that you have to choose between Microsoft and Google, and I want to just debunk that myth. It's not a choice. You can have both. So you can have the best of both. So you can run the Microsoft Teams application, and you can integrate everything, different LMSs as well. Google Classroom counts as one LMS. We have connections to Moodle, and to all the other major LMSs as well that can integrate. So you can add your Google Drive, your Google Classroom, your Google Docs, your Moodle, anything really that you have. You can even plug in third-party applications. Many of them are Microsoft partners, things like Wakelet and Flipgrid and Kahoot, and all of those things run in Microsoft.
Brilliant. Okay, so let's jump back just to understand. Then you've mentioned Teams, the different components of it. How would it physically work for a teacher? So I am now a teacher. It's a free tool for me as a teacher to use. I've got a whole pile of my learners that are now at home. How do I use it?
Okay, so Teams has also the ability to act as a standalone LMS. So if you don't have an LMS, you can use Teams in that way as well. So not only can you use it to collaborate, to share online and live documents. So you can collaborate on an online document at Microsoft. So if you have a Word document, for example, you use Word Online, and as you type, the students see what you type, and you can work on a group activity. You can also use an assignment tab, which means that you can easily distribute assignments through the Teams assignment tab. That's only for education customers. So it's not for corporate. It's for specifically built for education. It has an assignments feature. Then we have a rubrics feature where you can easily set up, mark, control the rubrics all in one space without leaving the Teams environment. And we have a gradebook option. So you can see all the grades of all the projects in one place. You can export that to an Excel document and have that to feed into your marking system, your reporting system, your whatever system. And then lastly, which I think is the most important, is what we're doing right now, is it's got the video conferencing capability as well.
Fantastic.
So there's a button that you press to say meet now, and your face appears, your video appears. You can share your desktop. So everything that you see on your screen, you can share with your students. We have a whiteboard option as well. So you can almost write as you would on your whiteboard on your screen, and they can see how you're teaching. So that's why it's so popular, I think, under the remote learning communities, because it has all those features built into one.
Okay, brilliant. Then big question, we will need to use bandwidth. How intensive is this? If students are at home, they don't always have the best kind of setup. Can you give us an example of kind of bandwidth usage?
Yes, sure. So that's a very important question. And I think that's at the moment a question on everybody's mind is two things. It's how devices is a big thing, like what will the students use, and then secondly is internet and connectivity. Now, good news is with Microsoft, you can still use the applications Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and OneNote, which is, I always tell when I speak to teachers, explain it to them, you can look at OneNote as the student's workbook, sy skrif, sy boek waarna elke dag wil skryf. So that would be the workbook that they're using and where they'll take their notes, and the teacher can look at every student individually taking their notes. Or it can be the students, the teachers, the faculty, the students, I said it again, the teachers flip file or ring file. So we all as teachers have these files, and we have to keep all our teacher files and our prep and all of that. You can do that in OneNote as well. And then the bandwidth question, we've actually done a comparison, and I'll share this at the end, is with the link that you're sharing, I'll add that, is that Teams works out cheaper than WhatsApp data-wise.
Wow.
And the
because WhatsApp's very light on data.
Yes, so Teams will be lower than WhatsApp.
Okay. And then just to confirm, device-wise, if I am a learner at home and I don't have a laptop or tablet, can I view it on a cell phone if that's all I have?
Yes, absolutely. So because it's an app, it works on iPad, iPhone, Android. I use it on my Samsung device every day. So as long as I have my phone with me and I have earphones like you are wearing, I can connect anywhere. Anywhere I go, I have connectivity, and I have access to all my documents as well. So it's all in one place. So definitely tablets, computers, phones, anything. It works.
Okay, awesome. And then just to confirm, because we had a question coming in, it is completely free for government teachers and government learners. Is that correct?
That's right. And it is free for private schools as well. So it is free for everyone. If you want to use the offline capability, like I said, with the Word and Excel and PowerPoint on your computer without connecting to the internet, you would need to get the Office 365 Pro Plus, which is the downloadable license. Many private schools have this, and it works out very affordable, because you only pay for your faculty. You don't pay for your students. So if you're a private school, you'll need to purchase the Office 365 license, which means really that you pay for the number of teachers at the school, and all the kids in the school get it free. That's how it works.
Okay. Big question for me, if you're a school now and you are setting up this for the first time, I think this is a kind of a question schools need to evaluate if they're choosing a platform. I'm a school, I need to set it up. How simple, how hard, can I do it myself? Do I do it online? Can you kind of give us an outline of how it would happen so schools can evaluate if they need help or if they can do it themselves?
Yeah. So the setup is very important, because you need to do it right from day one. You would need to have a faculty and a student account, which just means the username for the students to log in, and they'll log in with that username for everything, for email, for Word, for all of their basic Microsoft applications. We have created a 7-minute video. It really takes 7 minutes to set it up. So if you have never done it, if you need to do it, it will take you 7 minutes to set it up from beginning to end. And we have the guide on how to do that.
Okay.
And then I would recommend that you reach out for support if you have done the initial setup to roll it out and deploy, and then also to how to introduce it to the teachers. I think that often is a challenge.
Yes. I think in this present climate, obviously teachers are now going to have to jump around to do that. Also be on that, if they are going to set up and they need help, what are their options? If they're feeling a bit daunted, you've mentioned there is a team of people like yourself from Microsoft in the country. So could you just explain their options if they do need help?
Sure. So you can definitely reach out to me. I will share my details after this. There's 2 ways. The one is if you have a IT person at your school, an ICT manager, an IT integrator, something like that, someone that heads up the IT champs, they will be able to do it because we share really a step-by-step guide on how to do it, and we give all the guidelines, the resources for that. If you don't have that internal people, we can set you up with a district. I have contact with the district, so if you reach out to me, I will communicate to your district to say that this school needs support. And then thirdly, you can have a third-party partner that can also support you to set this up very easily and very quickly. Reach out to the IT people you already have involved at the school. In many cases, if you have an existing agreement with an IT company, this could be added on as a service. It might even already be included as a service. They just need to set up your Office 365 environment.
Okay, brilliant. So there are options, and I think if anyone wants to, they can contact you first so that you could advise directly. Let's just talk quickly local South African or schools using it. I think that is key that people are aware. So we've mentioned Saheti. As far as I understand, there are quite a few schools internationally and locally that are using Teams. I know in the Cape, someone like St. Cyprian's, who else is there? Crystal House are using it. Are they using it with learners taking devices home? Would that be correct?
Yes, so we actually have many schools, a couple of hundred of them using Teams. So those are some examples. Those 2 that you mentioned specifically are always open. We have schools in Pretoria and Durban as well that's always open to host or to invite schools to come and have a look and see how they're doing it and what they're doing. I think that's a very good thing is for teachers to actually go and see how it works on the ground, or to just have a Teams call or a video call in any way with these schools just to find out what their learnings were and what challenges they face, so it's realistic. We have these schools, as I said, across the world, but across the country using Teams successfully. And yes, there's a mix of device options. So some of these schools have iPads that they use. So their students own their own iPad and they use Office 365 and Teams. We have students with Android devices that use Office 365 and Teams. We have students with Windows laptops or these 2-in-1 devices that use it. So it's and phones, bring your own device with a mix of different devices. So it really works on all of those. Some schools have a shared device policy, so the students will only have the devices at the school that they use. So they would have to check them out, and it's one device to many students, so they have a roster kind of thing. And then the labs are at the schools and all schools. But I think if we start thinking about remote, we're going to have to think what the students will have access to at home. So mom and dad, I'm sure they could be a laptop or a tablet or a phone or a PC still in some houses. And as long as you have internet connectivity, you can plug in to your school. Okay. And if you don't, you can still work on the Word and Excel and PowerPoint and OneNote, for example.
Brilliant. Okay. Elsabe, thanks. I know we've got some questions coming in. For the schools that are listening, what Elsabe has done is she has created a place where you can actually now go in and see live content demos, etc., on how to do this. What we wanted to do with this is just give you an introduction so that you could decide if you wanted to have more. So I am going to share a screen now. That has a QR code. I'm also going to put a link in that you can go directly to get more information. So this is also recorded, so we can send it to you, and you can then view it, send it to other people. So if you are looking for more information, you can follow the following link that is going to come through now, and also you can just kind of scan the following QR. So let me just share it quickly. 1 second. There we go. So coming through to you now is the screen. If you scan that QR, you'll be able to go through to what is called the weeklet. So that will give you a lot more information. And then further to that, if you just want to click on the link, I'm going to paste it right here now for you to be able to take. 1 second. There it is. Brilliant. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for our first webinar. As discussed, the aim of this is to really give you an idea of, is this the right solution for you as a school to go online? We are going to be doing a series of webinars over the next couple of weeks. So we're going to be diving into right from devices, speaking to people in the industry. From Schoolscape and School Advisor side, over the last 4 years, we've built relationships with companies that we really trust. Like, we personally know Elsabe, so we're not only going to introduce you to products and services, but also people we know that can help you. So from my side, thank you so much for joining us. And then I would also just like to specifically thank Elsabe. Thank you for your time. Really appreciate you taking the time out to spend some time with us. Thank you also for making your details available. So I know we've had some other questions come through that we couldn't answer. I'm going to share Elsabe's details and you can directly email or contact her. So to everyone, we appreciate your time. Elsabe, thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye. Stay safe.
All right. Cheers, everybody.